Welcome to the very first episode of Doing the Most for the 2025-2026 NBA season. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. This is not going to be our normal setup. This is not going to be it. But what you guys can expect is for me to be not just consistent, but to give you guys everything as best as I can with the energy, with just like I'm gonna be on top of all of the news. We're gonna have so much to talk about, whether it's predictions, whether we're just, man, I'm gonna have so much fun with you guys here. I have not had this podcast space available for me for a really long time. I've been in Egypt for the past 4 years, and it was really hard to record out there, especially with the time zone differences. It was one of the hardest things watching NBA games at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 7. Man, but I was doing it because of my love for the game, and I know a lot of you guys love basketball too. So this is going to be one of those spaces where we're able to communicate. The reason I ever wanted to do this was because I really love basketball to a point where I want to talk to other people, and I feel like a lot of you guys might be in that same boat, where you guys might just want to ask me a question and have my answer. Maybe I want to have your answers on my podcast where you guys can submit videos, little things of that nature. I'm going to have a co-host, so you're not just listening to my voice. We're going to have a different space, but we're working on it. It's taken us a little bit of time. The NBA season starts tonight, though, so I definitely wanted to make sure our first episode was out. Whether you're watching me live here on YouTube or you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, I really do appreciate having you guys. There's so much going on in this NBA season, from the old school cats that are about to retire, man. So many great players over the past 2 decades that are basically on the tail end of their careers. Then you got these new school, like, literal, not even cats, these are the little pups, you feel me? These little guys that really want to make a name for themselves this year. We got a really good rookie class coming in. A lot of them have really good situations. We've had a lot of movement this offseason, and there's just so much to unravel. So I hope you guys got your popcorn, you guys are playing your games, you guys are doing whatever you have to do. I'm sorry for the late upload on this one. I want to definitely start dropping them maybe a little bit earlier before a game so you guys can have time or whatever the case is. But it's basketball talk, so we can listen, talk, like do whatever we gotta do whenever we gotta do it. So I'm not, this laptop's just here for show, honestly. If you ever see me looking at something, it's probably just me just browsing myself, like not even doing anything. I just want to talk about big picture, right? So we're coming off a year where the Oklahoma City Thunder won their first championship, right? And they are a very young, not just talented. Their potential hasn't been reached yet, but it's a team that really feels like a team. It's a bunch of like young players that really have this AAU vibe. We've been seeing it, and they're together for the next couple years easily. They can really make things happen, and they're just happy to play together. You can tell, you can see it. So the question that we first have to start off with, are they going to be our first repeat champions since the Warriors? We haven't had a repeat since literally Kevin Durant and the Warriors. We're saying Kevin Durant because that era where it was KD, Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And honestly, I don't know if we're gonna have one anytime soon because of how great the league has been. There's been so much, not just movement, but players are really just locking in a certain degree where teams are just getting better so much faster. So much faster. Every year, we're looking at new powerhouses. We're looking at a team that's like, yo, this team might have shit. And then you have the injuries. They're like, it's getting harder for teams to repeat off that alone. Look at the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum's out. He's not even going to be playing this year, more likely than not. And I don't want to bounce around. So I guess let's just start with tonight's first games, all right? Let's start there, and then I'll tell you guys the schedule for the season. For me, you're going to see me a lot more often than you think, 3 to 4 times a week, whatever you guys want to see, listen to, all that. But I definitely want to be consistent, especially if there's big movements, especially if there's big marquee matchups. There's some good games this week. Starting off with the first game, the defending champ Thunder versus the new look Houston Rockets. Yes, Houston, we have a problem. KD has landed. And I just want to start off by saying that lineup that they're starting with, if you guys haven't seen their starting lineup, we have never seen anything like this. This is literally a my team lineup where you put in your tallest players and you're just going to try to make it work. We can start from their big men. You got Steven Adams, a.k.a. Aquaman. Then you got Şengün playing the 4. Then you don't have KD at the 3. No, you would think KD would be your 3. But no, they're going to run Jabari Smith Jr. Kevin Durant will be the shooting guard position. And then they got Amen Thompson at the 1. So you're just asking for size. They want defense. They just want brute force. Is it going to work without a point guard? Who knows? I mean, obviously KD can kind of like control the game if you give him the ball and tell him to create. Şengün, obviously a great passer, one of the best big man passers in the game right now. But it might be really hard. I mean, they're going to be working on something new, working it out this year. Fred VanVleet is hurt to start off the year, so he's going to be missing a little bit of time. So is Dorian Finney-Smith, which was a really big pickup for them. That's definitely a big pickup on their end. I'm actually surprised he's not a Laker anymore, especially that he's so cool with Luka. And I thought he played really well last year. I thought that was a piece they definitely wanted to keep and make things moving forward. But Houston has so much potential, right? They got Tate, Dylan Brooks. It's just like they have the depth. And then now they have Kevin Durant. They were the number 2 seed out west last year. They couldn't do it in the playoffs, but now with Durant, can they? I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Durant, man. There really is, because he's been getting all these excuses over the past few years, whether it was Beal being out, Booker out, they just couldn't play. Then the same thing back in Brooklyn, they couldn't play because Kyrie was out because of COVID and all these other issues. Then Harden, they never got the chance to mesh. But now it's like, yo, your boy Steph Curry was able to win a championship without you before and after. What are you going to do? How are you going to respond? That's just one of those things that we have to see. I think there's a lot of pressure on KD this year. Like they even if they don't win it all, he definitely has to push them to at least the Western Conference Finals. There's no excuse otherwise. Even though the West is a lot deeper, a lot better. I'm not going to specifically talk about the first game because usually that goes hit or miss. Usually, like the team, the defending champs, they come out, you really don't know what you're going to get because they're going to have their ring ceremony, they're going to have the banners, they're going to have all this energy going in different aspects. So they might come out and blow you out, or they might just take the night off. I don't think usually those first games are that good, but it should be exciting. We'll move on over to the Warriors. They're actually playing after, and I want to go there because we were just talking about Steph. Steph, this is pretty much it. Right? Steph's getting old. Yes, he doesn't rely on athleticism. He hasn't thankfully had any major injuries besides like his ankles early in his career. But he's able to still continue to provide such great spacing, great ball movement, just pressure on the other team that he can play for as long as he kind of wants, pretty much, right? And then they added his brother, Seth Curry, who they waived, but I don't think they're probably going to pick him up again. We're expecting that to happen because obviously they just needed to move some pieces around, move some things around before they can like make him work, which is kind of weird because we're seeing this whole nepotism thing that everyone keeps talking about with Giannis. We're seeing it all over the league, and I don't want to go into too much detail about every team, even though there's so much to talk about. I feel like I can just briefly talk about every single team. And honestly, why not, man? I'm really excited to see this Warriors team having Jimmy Butler for a full year now. They got him late into last year by the trade deadline, so it's gonna be interesting how that works. And now they got Al Horford, a guy that also knows how to win. He's very true professional. They're a very old squad, right, with Draymond and all that, but their core has stuck the same. Obviously, they're missing Clay now, and they've moved pieces around throughout. They've lost pieces here and there. But we expect a lot from that team overall. Like, Kuminga should be getting better. Moody's still there. That guys that they're dependent on that sense. Part of me wants to jump around and, like, go to guys that used to play on these teams. Like, I kind of want to just go talk about Jordan Poole right now, a guy that used to be on the Warriors. But we'll continue with the team that they're going up against, and that is the Los Angeles Lakers. So with the Lakers, we see Luka shred so much weight. And when we say that, people are like, yo, he's low-key heavier than he was before. And we're talking about like that extra skin low-key. Right now he looks so much healthier. He looks like he's a basketball fit player. Like, he don't have the same body he did last year by any means. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Is this because of basically him getting traded? He feels some type of way, like he needs to prove to Dallas, like, yo, y'all made a huge mistake? Or is it more in the sense that it's like, oh, I'm playing with LeBron, LeBron's putting me on, like LeBron's telling him, like, yo, you gotta hit the gym, this is what I do, and he's just learning from that, because he did like LeBron before he came to this team. Right before he came into the league, he was looking at him like, yo, this guy's one of the best players, I want to be like that, because Luka obviously has a basketball mind. He looks to facilitate, he does all the things, and he has that body type. And so maybe he really wants to learn from that. So which one do you believe it is, or is it a mixture of the two? I'm actually kind of curious what you guys have to say. All I know is I'm sad that LeBron's not going to be playing tonight, because we're not going to get to see too much of LeBron versus Steph Curry. This is pretty much like, you can probably count the amount of times we see them versus each other now, unless they match up in the playoffs. So it sucks when one of them's going to be missing. But LeBron's not playing for at least a month. So hopefully he gets back better than ever, because realistically his injuries have they're not there like crazy. Like thankfully he hasn't gotten a big injury. And I'm saying this because as a basketball fan, you never want a player to be injured, right? You want everyone to be at top shape of their career and all that. But ever since like he had one ankle roll, like someone falling on his ankle, on his leg, it's just like started spiraling. But this is one of those like non-contact. This is from his age. He's the oldest player in the league. So we can kind of just relax, hope it's nothing too much. They got Ayton now. That's going to be a really interesting pickup for them. We're going to see how that, if he can kind of save his career in a sense, because he didn't, I know that he made the finals with Phoenix, but he didn't look that great. And it's just going to be a really interesting team dynamic for a lot of players. Like, is Connect gonna ever feel like back home, or is he gonna feel some type of way that he got traded? Will they trade him again? There's like so many aspects. Is Bronny gonna ever move up and show promise? I know a lot of people hating on that and wondering why he's even on the team, and that's where we'll segue over to the Milwaukee Bucks, who just signed Giannis's other brother. So they don't just have Thanasis, now they have Alex. But Alex is on a two-way deal where he can play with them, play on the G League and all that other stuff. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're Giannis, man. You are literally the Milwaukee Bucks. When you think Milwaukee, that's who you think about. You don't think about anybody else. So it's like he can do whatever he wants. I just want to look at their injury list to see if anyone's hurt for them to start the year. And honestly, I know just Gary Harris. Yeah, their team is healthy. They just picked up Mr. Miles Turner from Indiana. So that's instead of Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is not there anymore. They lost Lillard. So it's just like so many different things. They're going to lose Giannis. They're doing whatever they can to try to keep him there at the end of the day. They don't want him to go. If they could, they'd sign his mom. They'll sign his kids. They'll sign anyone to that organization just to make sure he doesn't leave or go anywhere. And that's rightfully so. That's a team supporting their guy, and I fully respect that 100%. I guess let's just go through the Eastern Conference teams really quick so we can knock this out fast. Honestly, Atlanta, a little couple movements here and there. I really want Trae Young to do some work. I feel like if Trae was on a different team, the fact that he's been averaging the most assists in the league for so long, if he was on a team that actually had stars like that could score, I can only imagine if he'd be averaging 15, 20 assists a game. It would be crazy, but he definitely can. Like, imagine him with Victor Wembanyama or something, he'd be going crazy. And now he has Kristaps Porzingis, so we'll see what Porzingis does with his career. No longer out there in Boston where there's pressure. So Atlanta's one of those teams that just like they're fighting for those 8 seeds, always trying to make the playoffs as a play-in seed. Don't expect too much more than that, even though they have some good wings that are developing, getting better. So we'll see how they do. We'll go to Boston, where Jason Tatum is expected to miss the whole year. There is a chance he can make something happen. He's coming off his Achilles injury. We've seen him dunking, standing dunk. I've seen that. So maybe there's a little bit of hope there. Can Jaylen Brown show that he's an MVP type player? I know he won Finals MVP, but can he do it for a season with that great, well, I don't want to say core anymore, but like the great coach and the system they got going anywhere, like over there. They lost Drew Holiday, they lost Porzingis, they lost Al Horford. So this team is might be on the lookout like, yo, let's just tank. Let Jalen get his numbers and we're not even worried. But that's not like a Boston Celtic type thing. So it's going to be interesting. The Brooklyn Nets have 2 guys that are beyond trigger happy. If you guys don't know, I grew up a Nets fan, so it kind of sucks talking about them this way. But that's one of those teams that there's no promise there except you're going to bet every night whether MPJ or Cam Thomas is going to drop 50, right? That's really all you can look forward to. Other than that, that's just going to be one of those teams that everyone's going to be excited to play against because you're going to put up numbers. You're going to have fun. It's just going to be a back and forth type of shootout. Nothing to talk about there. Charlotte Hornets. I'm excited to see LaMelo as he keeps developing, man. He's so good. He's so talented. And it sucks he's in an organization where reality is there's nothing going on for him there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, there's just nothing there. It's one of those things where you can just sit there and pretend that he's the team's getting better around him or this or that, but it's not. It never will. It's just he has to get out, or there's nothing there. Like, you're gonna see highlights every now and then, him throwing alley-oops, him shooting some one-legged three from half court. Other than that, nothing really going on out there. Chicago, a lot of new faces in Chicago. I know Kobe White's out a little bit early. Honestly, they just got Isaac Okoro. They traded Lonzo Ball, which is huge for the next team we're going to talk about. Because I think if he stays healthy, that he's going to be a difference maker for his squad. But Chicago is one of those teams where I don't think they have high expectations. I don't really expect too much from them. Also, if they are battling for one of those middle tiers, it's going to be fun watching like a Kobe White and all that play. But other than that, you don't expect much. And Lonzo went to Cleveland looking like a true point guard in his first game. That was so much fun to watch. I really think he could work out really well for that team because Cleveland, they had an incredible season last year and just didn't perform in the playoffs. They need, I'm not even going to say veteran leadership. They don't need championship pedigree. They just need a little bit more time together, and they need a guy like Zoe who's going to play defense, who is vocal with the way he plays. Like, he can do what he needs to. And I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be on a mission this year. He has something to prove in a sense because he's been getting the All-Star nods. He's been doing this and that. And they looked really bad. They obviously have their twin towers down low and Evan Mobley as well as Jared Allen. So I think there's going to be a lot of good things coming their way. They don't have much injuries coming into this year besides Darius Garland and Max Strus, which really helps them out because that Lonzo just gets to play a little bit more early and then they can decide what they're doing. They also got DeAndre Hunter now. I really like that Cleveland team. Speaking of injuries, we'll go down to Dallas, man. Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie's going to be missing a lot of time, which is really sad. It's definitely sad. He's expecting to miss some time for sure. I heard Jason Kidd say he's ahead of schedule, but he's going to be missing some time, which is great for their rookie, Mr. Cooper Flagg. It's actually crazy. They give up Luka and get Cooper Flagg. It's wild to really think about. And he's going to have the best opportunity out there to really put a mark on the game. He should get Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, just because they're going to be winning like crazy. AD's there, Clay's there. He's not going to have too much responsibility. He doesn't have to do too much, and he can just develop with a guy like Jason Kidd, who's thankfully not a young coach anymore. He has what it takes to be a great coach. So we're going to see how that kid goes. As long as AD stays healthy, which he gained a lot of weight, which is good. That's the weight you need so he doesn't like stay being made out of glass. And I really do see great things for Dallas. I think they're going to be great. The Denver Nuggets, they don't have any crazy injuries. A lot of guys are day-to-day with Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, and Jokic. They just paid Christian a little bit of money, Mr. Christian Brown. So they're trying to kind of run it back, see how it goes. The Denver Nuggets overall, just like nothing crazy made except that they lost MPJ. They did pick up Cameron Johnson, so that's going to be interesting where they head with that. Is he going to be a better fit instead of MPJ? And I can see it because he's willing to pass. He's willing to play a little bit more defense, in my opinion. He's a little smaller in size, but he'll make up for it in other places. Let's talk about Detroit, one of those teams that really made a great leap last year just because of them getting older, experience just gelling, and Cade Cunningham's going to have himself a year. You could just tell, you can know. They have great big men. I think that team is really fun to watch. Tobias Harris is their veteran. I hear him calling him Unk, so I'm very excited for that team. We'll move on over to Indiana, the defending champs out east. They're not looking too good, man. Tyrese is going to be pretty much missing the whole entire year. And then TJ McConnell, I think, is out for a little bit. So this is a perfect opportunity for anyone out there to try to make a name for themselves. But they're pretty much, I want to say their season's done. I'm sorry to say, if you are an Indiana Pacer fan, I think you could kind of agree that your expectations are a lot lower. It was really great seeing you guys in the finals. You might have had a shot if he was healthy. But the fact that he isn't, like, Siakam's not going to run that team for you. No more Miles Turner. Like, it's just one of those years where maybe you get a good draft pick next year. Even though Nembhard and all these guys are going to play, they're going to want to do some stuff. But it's not looking too great. Now, out there in LA for the Clippers, that Clipper team, man, they just picked up Chris Paul again. They got Brook Lopez. Honestly, still Kawhi's there. Now it's Harden is there still. So it's Harden and Chris Paul back again. Kawhi, can he stay healthy? That's always been the question we have. They got Batum. It's literally a retirement home when you really break it down. That team should win a lot of games. They should have the most playoff experience when it comes to, like, push comes to shove. They have so much potential. I would never count that team out of winning anything. I really think they have everything that it takes to win a championship. It's just, can they do it? Can they be healthy when it matters most? Will they have enough time to play throughout a season so they can stay healthy when it matters most? Who knows? The Memphis Grizzlies probably don't have what it takes when it comes to injuries. A lot of guys are in and out lately. Zach Edey's out for a little bit. I love Jaren Jackson Jr. I hope Ja comes back better than ever. He keeps going through injuries ever since he started missing games for dumb things. They don't have Desmond Bane anymore, who actually is in a great home, and we'll talk about that. Scottie Pippen Jr. I think is out for a couple, like 3 months or something at least. That they're in trouble to start. But they can make it happen. It's just one of those things you're not finding in the West, man. I just got to say it as it is. Miami Heat, I think Tyler Hero's going to be missing games early. I always want to just touch up on the guys that are out because I think that's going to impact the beginning of the season. And then hopefully they can transition without them. Like, you're going to see other guys being able to develop and get some minutes that normally wouldn't. And that's going to dictate their year. And I think that really helps out a lot. Miami's on one of those teams ever since, obviously, Jimmy Butler left. They've been on a steady decline a little bit. Obviously, you're never going to replace that. But they're one of those teams that are semi-fun to watch. Now, we're almost done. I'm going to ramp it up a little bit. Next up, we're going to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, who basically are going to try to be running it back with Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, and Rudy Gobert. We know they gave up Cat. And honestly, I like their pieces around, man. Naz Reid is so great. Jaden McDaniels, Dante DiVincenzo. They got Joe Ingles, Mike Conley. Like, that team is so close as well. I don't know what else they need. Is it just another year of Anthony Edwards? Like, is this the year? Is he finally... He's not in his prime yet, but is he good enough now to take him to the next level? Because he's always been good. He's been great. It's like... You know, once that year hits, you never know when that year is. It's that switch that makes that player the best of their abilities. And honestly, this might be the year. Who knows? I'm really excited to see that team like really contend and how good they can be and how good they will be. Now, the New Orleans Pelicans are the next squad that I really like. I love this squad on paper. I really feel like this is one of those teams that if I'm playing with on PlayStation or Xbox, I'd have so much fun with. They got Trey Murphy, Herbert Jones. They just picked up Jordan Poole, which can change up the dynamic. Zion lost so much weight. He looks crazy good. He looks like he hopefully won't get injured. They got DeJounte Murray, who's going to be out for a little bit. Honestly, Sadiq Bey's a big pickup. Kevon Looney's on that team. I really like this team. Their young rookie looks really good with Fears. He has a chance at Rookie of the Year, possibly depending on the minutes. I think Rookie of the Year is going to be one of those things that just depends on who plays what, where, when. We'll do some predictions at the end of this. I'll tell you guys who I think is going to win what and all that. The Knicks kind of running it back, right, with Cat and Brunson, Hart, Robinson, OG. That team just needs a little bit more depth. They fired their coach, which is crazy. Let's see if that was the change they thought they needed. Maybe now guys don't get as tired. More minutes go around. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. Orlando's obviously looking super promising with their young core. They actually picked up Desmond Bane, a little bit of a veteran there in shooting. I know he's not old, and he has no long arms. Let's just talk about it. My son's arms are like this. I love making fun of him just for fun. I'm kidding, obviously. But that team, they're growing together. I love that team. The Paulo, Wagner. I just really like Suggs. Like, it's growing, and they really have so much potential, man. Really do. Philly, honestly, I don't know, with the whole Embiid situation, Paul George, everyone just being hurt. McCain's missing some time early. Maxey, what else can he do? I like their rookie VJ. I just finally started watching him. I didn't really know much about him or know anything about him. But if he actually gets some minutes and all that, he can show a lot of promise, and maybe they try to move Paul George later on. We'll see what actually ends up happening. The Phoenix Suns, real interesting what the Phoenix Suns have going on. They just picked up Mark Williams. They basically lost their man, right? KD. What's Booker gonna do now? What is he gonna do? Is he gonna stay there forever? I mean, his contract's crazy. He really loves it out there. But it's going to be interesting. We'll talk about Portland. I don't want to really talk too much about Phoenix. I don't really see much for them in this year. They're not going to be fighting for the championship or anything like that. They do have Jalen Green, so it's one of those things. Can Jalen and Booker, they're going to give up 150 points each, but can they put up 150? And that's a possibility for sure. Portland has Damian Lillard out. It was great seeing him come back. Lovely to see. It sucks. I wanted him to be freed. It just didn't work out in Milwaukee. Maybe he was free too late. Who knows? Maybe that wasn't the right fit. But he went back home. He's going to be out the whole year, though, so that sucks. It's just going to be one of those, like, hopefully he can come back at some point. It's another Achilles injury. We're seeing Achilles all throughout the league. Usually it used to end careers. Now we're seeing guys bounce back, so hopefully he's able to bounce back. Scoot looks pretty solid. I know he's missing time to start. They got Denny out there. The team is cool. A lot of young guys, so maybe Damian's just like voice will be heard, and that can help them develop. And now the worst team, in my opinion, on paper is the Sacramento Kings, and not because they picked up Westbrook. I really was happy they picked up Westbrook. I wish him all the best. I love Westbrook. I want him in a good home. But that team on paper just looks ugly. I'm going to be honest. It just looks bad. It does not look like it belongs. No one looks like they deserve to be there together. There's so many old guys, so many guys that just don't make sense. So it's just one of those things where it's like, what's really going on? Now, I think we have 4 teams remaining. I'll just touch up on them the way I want. Washington Wizards. Not much you really could hope for. I know they got CJ McCollum out there now, but they just got some hopefully young pieces that can show promise in the future, like Bilal, whether it's Cam Whitmore, whatever the case is. Hopefully one day they'll be good, but it's not now, obviously. The Utah Jazz is another team in that same position where they have Ace Bailey, who might win Rookie of the Year simply because he'll have the ultimate green light to do whatever he wants. Maybe he puts up 30, 40 a game. So that might show some promise in that sense. We'll see how it goes at the end of it. But no expectations. And that's the best way to play basketball. When you have no expectations, you're able to do stuff freely. Then you got the Toronto Raptors, which I like their main pieces. I do. Like Ingram, Scotty, RJ. That kid Grady's showing a little promise. They got Emmanuel quickly. Where are they going? What are they going to do? And it's the only team out there in Canada. I went to their parade. One of the craziest things ever. The whole country supports them. But it's like, are we really excited for that team the same way as we are for the final squad we got to talk about, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. Wemby looks incredible. He looks incredible. He's getting older. He's getting muscle. He's getting this and that, and he's only going to get better and better when he figures out the NBA game, when people realize that he's the strongest force out there, because he's going to show, once he figures it out, no one's going to be able to stop him. And I like that they're adding point guards around him. Their rookie looks solid. De'Aaron Fox out there probably with more time, little things of that nature. I like Castle. I really think that team has so much potential, and I'm very excited to see them play together. Obviously, I don't think they're winning it yet, but their potential is there. Now, let's talk about who I think is winning it all. I'm just going to make a prediction. I do think Cooper Flag will win Rookie of the Year. If he stays healthy and that team does win, I'm not going to say I'm surprised, but if Ace really puts up 20 points a game as a rookie, he'll have a really great, strong argument to win it. But I feel like it's Cooper's award to lose at the end of it. I think most improved is going to be someone young. It's really hard to predict that reward because it's usually some guy that obviously is supposed to improve and then he ends up winning it anyway. We don't have to really talk about six-man. MVP is a really great one. Great topic. Is Giannis going to be going for it? Does he have something still to prove? He does. Can Jokic still have a little bit more in the tank? SGA, is he going to give that up or does he want that award again? Honestly, Luka. I think Luka's hitting that stride. This is the year. This is the year usually champions are made at his age, right? That's the age that LeBron, Jordan, all of them, that's when they made their mark. And I think with LeBron being out, it's going to give Luka the ultimate green light of being, this is my team, let me show y'all what I have to do. And he's going to do it. I genuinely believe him at MVP. And depending on how they can rest LeBron, I think this might be his final chance fighting for a championship. Low-key, not final, but it's going to be one of those years. Then you have Houston fighting for it. You have Denver still there. You can't count out Denver. And you got Dallas. Those are my 4 favorites out west. I know I'm kind of just taking the cheat way out. I'm not putting Minnesota there. I'm not putting Golden State, even though you can. I think just with how long the season is, stuff's going to fall apart. I don't know why. I feel like since Minnesota's been together for so long, usually that strengthens them. But I feel like because they're also kind of young in a sense, I feel like it might hurt them a little bit more. We'll see. I definitely could see that happening, that change, and I wanted to make a better prediction video. Maybe I do later on. Maybe we update this every month. Out east, it's such an open road. You don't have to worry about Boston anymore that much. Cleveland should be the favorite. Them in New York, you got the Knicks. Just because Indiana fell, does that give a chance for a team like Detroit or the Orlando Magic to make a name? Can Philly be healthy enough to actually make some noise? It's going to be interesting, but I think the Clippers team has a shot too. I know I didn't mention them, but that's also going to come down to, can they be healthy? We talked about that. And I'm just super excited. I want to hear what you guys think. Who do you guys think? I think it's so early to make predictions like that because we've seen some of the craziest trades happen last year, and that could happen at any time. We might get some wild trades at any moment in time. So it's one of those things where we shouldn't really just be like, oh, this or that. Like, anything is possible. The team could look so different by tomorrow. But with all that said, this was the first episode. I don't want to take your time too long. I hope this was enjoyable for you guys. I'm very excited for having more people on. I want to change some stuff where I have you guys kind of here with me. Leave your comments. I'll have them on the screen, and we're going to talk about them. And basically, I want you guys a part of this as much as I am. Thank you guys for the first episode of Doing the Most. Let me know what I said wrong, what you disagree with me on, what you agree with me on, and I'll see you guys soon. It's been your boy MosBallin, and thank you for doing the most.